Hey, this is Chantal Gerardy from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm super excited to be sharing with you some holiday marketing ideas on how you can manage your campaigns over the holiday, but also how do you manage the implementation of your marketing over the holidays, and how do you manage your team. So just some of the considerations that you may need to have as we go into the December, January period right now. Many people are kind of backing off a bit. A lot of business owners I work with are actually using this time to work on their team, work on their marketing, work on their business because they're not so busy, so they've got a clear head. So we're going to be going through all of that today to make sure that you can properly utilize the next 2 months as we're about to go into December and January. So I have made this Australian holiday season specific, obviously, because we're all here in Australia, except for Clint, who's in New Zealand. So I think the only thing that's different for Clint is, and Claude actually as well, their business is in New Zealand, is you guys probably don't have Australia Day. Well, we have Australia Day to take into consideration here in Australia. Um, so today's going to talk about, Christmas and Boxing Day. It's also going to talk about client communication, updating your operating hours, managing your team, and using the quiet periods for systemization, for automations, and for your planning in 2026. In fact, businesses that kind of get this next 2 months right are really going to be ahead of the other businesses as they go into the next year. Cool. So let's have a look at it. So it's not just about Christmas, right? I don't know if you've been watching on social media, but this last week, all the kids have been graduating from school. My youngest baby, Hannah, she just graduated. Ironically, that was my best performing reel that I've had. Thanks, Hannah. I'm over 5,000 views. But yeah, so we've got, the end of the year right now here on the Gold Coast. We've got schoolies that's happening as well. So we have to look at how can we target our campaign and what's happening right now with how people are feeling at the end of the year and what they're about to go into with the campaigns that we have so that the campaigns are logical. Because when it comes to marketing, it's all about effectively communicating to your audience with what they're experiencing right now to get them to make a decision that this is the right thing for them right now. So people will pay anything and they'll buy anything. It's up to you on how you communicate it to them, right? And that's why this time of the year, it's really important we pay attention to what people are actually doing right now. So life is speeding up, but it's also slowing down as we get to the end of the year. I know for some reason, it always feels like a massive rush. Like I feel like everyone's rushing, like the world's going to come to the end, like an end for Christmas. And then everybody goes like, and they all kind of calm down for the rest of January. That's how it feels for me and always has for the last sort of couple of years. And I know that because clients are messaging me all the time, like, I try to get everything done. I'm like, dude, there's 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year's. Like, it's okay. You're not going to die. You should have done all your planning beforehand anyway, right? Cool. So it's important to have structure. If you're anything like me and probably Fiona as well, because she's a process-driven girl, just like myself, we love structure, we love processes. So being able to get all of this now done right now can really help us. While the rest of the country is sort of on holiday mode, you may be on holiday mode, but it might also be a good thinking time for you to be able to work. But not only that, many of us are still paying for our virtual assistants or our in-house marketing team to work, which means there's things that they could be doing right now that can enhance your marketing for 2026. So let's just look at some of the key dates that we want to plan around. Well, firstly, we've got those end of school celebrations around now, for example. So right now, like the accommodation on the Gold Coast is going nuts with everybody, doing schoolies and graduating and partying. But of course, then we've also got those teachers' gifts as well. Then we've got Christmas Eve, we've got Christmas Day, we've got Boxing Day, we've got New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then the school holidays, which really take up the whole of sort of January if you're here in Australia. And then Australians have Australia Day as well. And I feel like no one really gets back to work or starts doing anything until after that Australia Day weekend. And then most of them are jaded from that weekend anyway. So it's a bit of a slow start in February. So when people say to me, I'm going to run a like New Year, New You sort of retreat in January, I'm like, I'm sorry, but no one's really going to be paying attention in January. There's a very select few. It only sort of really starts in February. I've just learned you can't fight the seasons just because you feel like you want money or you want like to be busy over that period, you can't fight the season. For us, for example, we don't do many of them during the course of the year, but we find at this time of the year, done for you lead magnet funnels seems to be our biggest thing that we do over this period, because people are like, yes, I want to start the new year with a done for you lead magnet funnel. So that works well for us at this time of the year. So these dates shape the buying behaviors, your traffic patterns, the demand, your team availability, and the attention span of your audience. You might have been posting during the day as an entrepreneur. You might be posting during the day and it might be fine. As soon as it comes to the holiday season and it's summer, like in Australia, guess what? Everyone's at the beach. No one's checking their social media. So you may actually have to change the time of day that you actually post, because people are now out and about doing something. If it rains, get on social media and post, because most people are inside then and paying more attention. All right, so let's look at some of the leadership components around how do you actually lead your team through the holidays. The first thing is actually just mapping it all out. If you haven't already, make sure that yourself or your virtual assistants have gone in and mapped out the days that you're not going to be there. So for example, for myself, I've mapped to my calendar when I want clients to book sessions and not book sessions. Previously, I just booked my holiday. So I do a week over Christmas and I do a week over Australia Day weekend. But the problem that I have had was that I might have one client book on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, and they'd book in the middle of the day. And guess what? I now can't go out and I can't go join friends and go do things because I've got one client stuck in the middle of the day. So what I did now is that generally I try to block out my Monday and my Friday, because I also find that the cancellation rates for a service-based business, Mondays and Fridays tend to be the worst. So for me, I'm just like, block out Monday, block out Friday. Clients can see me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I might just block it out as the morning or block it out as the afternoon, so that I'm guiding my clients as to when they can actually go in and book, so that I've got a couple of days of work and the rest of the time I can still chill and do stuff, right? Do I worry about it? Do I care about it? A lot of people go laptop lifestyle. Oh, 4-hour work week. What a lot of BS. As far as I'm concerned, I love it. I travel all year round. So for me to still see clients over December and January, absolutely love it. I'd probably self-combust if I couldn't see them, because I actually love what I do. So I do have a week over Christmas and a week over Australia Day weekend. Then we've got to look at your team. So for example, I've got team in South Africa, the Philippines, and here in Australia, in Brisbane. So I've got to look at what are the days that they take off, because the Filipinos have additional days that are special to them. So it's about having those conversations and going, what are those days that are special for you? Because I want them to celebrate their special days. And it's the same as in South Africa. If they've got special public holidays that they take, I want them to have their days as well. So for us, we've got a team calendar, and the team calendar for us has all the days of the days that people will not be working. So everyone knows, who's working when and how and why. And then obviously looking at the days, obviously, that they are working and making sure that we can utilize our team as best we can. Some also may take extended leave. So that's the other thing. If leave is due to them, they may take leave over that, or they may negotiate leave. And it's important that you know that well in advance. This year, when I went to Bali, my virtual assistant, who I love to pieces, he took a weekend the exact day I was leaving to go to Bali. So for 4 days, like, my emails were going to be unmanaged. He was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? And I'm like, it never happens. That was just a freak thing that happened. And I was like, I will actually manage my emails on, like, in between flights and whatever for the first 4 days. And then I also had my other virtual assistant as backup. So as long as you've got like communication going, you can make it happen. I wanted to give him that, and I was actually happy to manage my own emails. Now, other business owners will be going, what are you talking about? You shouldn't have to do that if you've got a virtual assistant. For me, it's about culture, and I'm more than happy to pick up the slack where I need to, because I'm very thankful for the amount of work they do for me. The other thing you got to look at is time zones as well. So changes in communication. So for example, if you're traveling and there's a time difference between you and them, for me, I use the clock on I've got an iPhone. I use the clock on my iPhone, and I've got all the different time zones. So I've got Cape Town, I've got Cebu, I've got Brisbane. I mean, I put that in there as well. And then, of course, I've got my mother in France. So I've got everyone's time zones on my phone, so I can always have a look and see what time zone is it, for when I'm communicating with them. And I encourage my virtual assistants to do the same. It's that easy. We don't have to work it out anymore. You can literally just have it on your phone. All right, so we want to make sure as well that when you got this holiday calendar, we want to know who is online and what dates they're going to be online to make sure that if they are in charge of monitoring emails or customer service, that the emails are going to be monitored. Who is away and for how long, and then who's the person that's going to back up and take over that role. Um, the priority tasks during leave periods and who's going to cover those critical tasks. I did have it actually as I was doing a connecting flight to Bali. I had one lady who had a customer service issue and it was a technical question. And of course, my VA is in charge of technical. He was the one that was away. And I was like, I'm not good with technical. But at the airport, I picked up the phone, had a chat with her, explained to her the situation. I was just human about it. And she was more than fine. And I said, look, I'll get my other VA to help you, but just so you know, this other person's not a technical person, but she'll help you as best we can. And they were grateful. They were grateful for, you know what, picking up the phone and just having that conversation. You can use things like Slack. One thing I love about Slack is it's got that little status thing in it. So you can say online and you can have offline, or you can say temporarily offline, back in an hour. You have all these like little status symbols in your communication channel so that you know when they are or aren't offline. Um, Cool. So let's talk about the holiday handover then. It is important for me. A lot of people say a handover guide, and you can have it as kind of an SOP. For us, we communicate. We have our weekly meetings, as I encourage all of you to have, and that is that Monday planning session. And as we're getting closer and closer towards Christmas, we're having those conversations already now, 4 weeks out, about who's away, who's doing what, who's going to cover for who. So, for example, one virtual assistant might be away on holiday, not working. That person will take over the email marketing while that person's away. Now, I love this. I don't love a crossover of tasks because your team, you never know where the error is with this person or that person. But I do like it that if you have another team member, they can read the SOP and they can fulfill that task. And that's why I always encourage you to do those working bees, because working bees are all about you going and having a little sneaky stalk over what the other person's doing in their role, so that if they do disappear and go somewhere, you've got the SOP, but you've also gone in and kind of have a look and see what they're doing so that you can cover them short term should you need to. All right. So with the handover, as I said, this will be done in your meetings. You want to make sure that you're scheduling campaigns in advance. Like ideally, you want to be 2 weeks ahead with your scheduling. And in our next training session, we are going to be mapping out our 2026 content calendar, which we'll do next week. So you just want to make sure that you are ahead so that you suddenly don't go away for 2 weeks and you realize you haven't scheduled content for 2 weeks. You come back now and it's like, what content am I doing? And you're now working reactively, not proactively. So we want to schedule things. Think about it. Merry Christmas, a Merry Christmas post, you can go and schedule at any time of the year for the 25th of December. Happy Australia Day, you in your togs from last year, flying a flag, can go and schedule that like a whole year out. So you just want to make sure that all of that stuff is scheduled and that you know that it's all scheduled. It's relevant, obviously, to your clients as well. And you do have to check, obviously, like anything. Sometimes scheduled stuff doesn't go. So you still want to be monitoring the back end of your tools. You want to have a look at any key automation dates. So for example, we've got like a webinar that we're doing before, and we're in the process of selling an 8-week program, and we're going to be doing that over the ready. And even if we're on holiday, we want to make sure that we're still not reactively posting, but we have proactively planned those campaigns and they're all scheduled to go. We want to look at priority tasks. So for example, managing my emails and my client communication, like those are priority tasks. If someone's going to be away and not doing that, we've got to make sure that we either put an away, sort of signature at the bottom of your email signature, or we let them know when we are going to be available or what the response rate is. But that communication obviously is really important. Login and access as well. So there's nothing worse than if one virtual assistant knows how to log into something and you don't know how to log into something, and now you've got to log into something. I know that for me, I've just given my 2IC just access to my Xero and my Stripe. Obviously limited access, not full access, but that is so that if I am away, they can still create invoices, because how else, like imagine if we got a client over this period and we couldn't invoice them, like that's ridiculous. So I want to be able to do that. So I've just created an SOP, shown her how to do that, given her access for that so she can create invoices. who's obviously covering those critical tasks, and then where is the check-in or the expectations. So for example, we do our planning session on a Monday, we do our review session on a Friday. If those Monday and those Fridays I'm off and say I want to be off in my camper van for that period, I might go into my calendar, change those days, and maybe make them just one day a week over the Christmas and New Year period. Or perhaps some of them are public holidays, and obviously you're not going to be expecting to do those meetings then. So yeah, just making sure that that's all up to date. Your SOP folders, everyone's across where they are, and that they're labeled all well. Your emergency contact instructions as well. So like, what happens if there's a critical matter and people can't get hold of me? Like, what's the next step? How do we deal with that? Where does your content live? Make sure that if you've edited or you've given feedback on all your content before the holidays come. All right, cool. So let's talk about now January and how you can actually maximize January. And I love it because I'm not so busy. My brain is in a space where I can actually focus on my own business because I'm always have the privilege of focusing on all of your business. This is a great opportunity for me to actually sit back and think about mine. But for your team, these are some of the things that you can get them to do or you could be doing over the January period. I find December is kind of like party zone. Everyone rushes in, has Boxing Day, like meal, and then you've got to like recover on the couch for 2 days afterwards. But January comes and people like are generally inspired to actually work. So here's some of the things that you could be doing. You could be cleaning up your folders. So for example, we use Google, but if you use Microsoft, clean up your folders, updating your SOPs, and don't forget at the top of your SOPs, you want to write the date that you actually updated those folders. Maybe you want to refresh templates or brand kits. So for example, for us, we've got a couple of old things that have still got an old logo on it. So it might be a case of, you know what, go update those fonts, go update the branding on all those Canva folders, or even going into Canva and putting everything into projects and folders so it's easy to find. Rebuilding or optimizing funnels. So actually I like to create a funnels list. These are a list of all our automations and going in and checking that all those funnels are up to date. Creating those one sheets for all those funnels, making sure they're all named the same. Oh my gosh, that would be heaven coming back after Australia Day and all of that was cleaned up. Cleaning up your CRM and your tags. So creating a tags list and like a list for your list and your tags, and updating your CRM and checking everything. Rebranding or refreshing website pages. So if you haven't all year round, which you should have done, like if you work with me, I tell you to do this monthly at least. And that is your Google Analytics, looking at your website pages, going in and maybe updating your SEO. I've got a couple of clients doing that at the moment, actually, going in and tidying up the back end and making sure that the SEO is correct everywhere. And then just refreshing those website pages because some of that content might be old. While I say this, check this. Everywhere you've written 2025 on your website, you've now got to go and update to 2026. How do I know this? Because in 2025, I found somewhere that it said, get your marketing right in 2023. And I was like, it's almost the end of 2025 and it was still up there. So 2024, sorry. So make sure that you check your website, and anywhere that you've said 2025, you now have to change to 2026. You may wish to start considering migrating your systems to the all-in-one marketing platform by Go High Level OBM Hub and doing all the onboarding and training, analyzing the 2025 data, and then batch creating content as well, or even going in and maybe chopping up like a whole bunch of videos and making reels to support each of your programs, or even testimonials, going in and chopping up some of the testimonials to go, that testimonial goes well with that program. This testimonial goes well with that program. That's a great thing to do. Updating your training. So if you haven't been doing it, which you should have been doing all year round, you have a training tracker. And if you don't have a skill in your business, January is a great time. Last year, I literally went and I did so much training in high levels for OBM Hub because I was like, if I'm going to keep this business, I need to like learn. And I sat at a campground in Mooney for 7 days. And I got up in the morning, made a nice coffee, breakfast, went stand-up paddling. And when it got hot between 11 and 2 o'clock, I was like, I'm sitting under a tree with my laptop and I'm just binge training. Did all of that, binge train, packed it away, went and stand-up paddled, fished, and walked all afternoon. It was fantastic. And I wasn't allowed to have that afternoon beer until I'd done it. So set yourself a little target. I find that works for me. And then, of course, planning your 2026 campaign. So if you know that when the year gets started, you start tripping over yourself with the events you're running or the programs you're running, sit there and map it all out. Like map out your 2026, campaigns. All right. So the work that you do now will set you apart from the businesses that don't do it in February. You will be ahead of everyone. They'll be catching their tails, still trying to call out of Australia Day mode, and you would have mapped out everything and be running with a really good start. Cool. So let's have a look at some of the e-commerce. We'll start with e-commerce, some of the campaigns that you can do that convert. So for us here, we've got Daryl and we've got Claude. So you could be looking at teachers' gifts, stocking fillers, secret Santa items, kids' packs, ski clothing for those who travel internationally, and then wellness and self-care products. Ideas that work well are gift bundles, free express shipping windows, VIP 12 days of Christmas deals, and last-minute digital gift vouchers. So in the olden days, you'd have to have a physical gift voucher. Guess what? You can now do digital gift vouchers. So it's an easy way to say, oops, did you forget somebody? Did somebody forget a voucher for their mother-in-law? She'd love a sound healing session. Well, you can buy a digital card and we can actually send her a digital voucher to say thank you, or you can email it to them and they can print it out. Boxing Day sales is obviously your highest revenue, and we're busy experiencing that all right now. My busiest expenditure has been happening over this period and over Boxing Day sales, but you could be doing things like VIP early access via email and SMS, limited time flash sales, tiered discounts, buy more, save more models, gift card bonuses, retargeting, and abandoned cart campaigns. Oh my gosh, if you're not doing abandoned cart campaigns, I'll be very disappointed. So number 3 is new year, fresh start overs. So this is great for the fitness industry, wellness industry. It's great for those that are for decluttering. Decluttering is a huge thing. An organization that happens hugely in January. So see how you can apply that to your business. Refreshing the home. A lot of people get into the home and the garden and start, refreshing things, and productivity tools as well. So you could position your offer around new beginnings and aligned goals. And then, of course, number 4 is Australia Day. So it's all about those summer campaigns. It's about summer essentials, picnic bundles, outdoor experiences, camping and travel kits, and limited edition Aussie summer collections. And you can really lean into that summer lifestyle. So for service-based businesses, your number 1 thing is holiday communication. So that is communication with your current clients. So current clients or past clients, you want to make sure that you are sending them your holiday hours, any important deadlines, your emergency contacts, or how they can contact you during that period, when support resumes and when there's no support, and your final availability for December or January. Number 2 is the January reset and rebuild packages. So you could be talking about, depending on what your business is, it could be, planning sessions, strategy sessions, website audits, anything that is relevant to your clients right now that is about resetting and rebuilding at the beginning of the year. That would be a New Year's resolution, because if it's on their New Year's resolution list, guess what? It's an aspiration, and marketing is all about their aspirations. What is the word that they use to say, I really want this, even if it's the wrong word for what you offer? If you use their words, they become magnetic words. So anything right now that would be on their bucket list is what you could be using in their marketing. Because people are craving direction in January. They feel like, and because you're part of all of it. You feel like you've had this big high, then you're partying and it's like holiday mode and you're relaxed, and then you start feeling, oh my gosh, will this ever end? I need to get back to work, right? And you just want clear direction on getting back to work. So number 3 is that client appreciation. So it really is about those meaningful relationships. So sending personalized video messages, sending a small gift, donations. You could do donations to a charity on their behalf. or even a thank you for being a purpose-led partner. It could be a card or an email or even referral partner gifts. Number 4 is re-engagement campaigns. So following up on old leads or past clients or unfinished proposals and just wishing them Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and, just checking in, seeing how they're going. So your non-negotiable holiday communication checklist is just this, right? You need to update everywhere this. It drives me nuts when you go suddenly, like I'll go on, and I've done this before. It might be a bicycle shop. It'll say that you're open. You'll drive all the way there and they close. There's a sign on the door says closed for the holidays, and they haven't updated it on their Google or their social media. We all know how frustrating that is, and you do not want to annoy your clients, right? So update everywhere, your website operating hours. So check your footers, your headers, and update your operating hours. Your Google My Business profile, update your holiday hours. You could, if it's relevant, in your Instagram bio, you could update it there. Facebook as a pinned post, Instagram as a pinned post. In your Facebook groups, it could be a featured post. Through your email automations. You can do it in your personal email signatures as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, your appointment scheduler calendar. So in your appointment calendar, where are you still going to be doing sales calls if you're going to be doing sales calls over that period? And make sure you don't put them at an annoying time of the day when you're going to be out drinking skinny margaritas in your togs and you've booked a sales call. So it is about just working out when is the best time for you to be doing that. Cool. Let's have a look. So your holiday marketing and operations checklist. So campaign essentials is obviously your Christmas campaign. Boxing Day campaign. Are you running one and what are you doing and is it ready to go? Your New Year promo built. So for example, we've got our 8-week marketing strategy program that we're doing, a marketing implementation program that we're going to be doing. You've got your Australia Day content planned as well. It might just be Happy Australia Day, or maybe if it's relevant to your audience and to you, to actually run a campaign. And then, of course, you've got your email and your SMS sequences that you can schedule to do as well. Team management, as I said, your holiday calendar is complete. You've done your handover. You've checked your availability of everyone. Everybody's Slack statuses are on, so everyone knows when you're available. And customer support. Your customer support is sorted, okay? It cannot be left unmanaged. For your systems and your strategy work, it's your CRM cleanup, it's your automation audit, it's your SOP update, it's your folder decluttering, your brand kit refreshes, and then if you're moving to something like OBM Hub, and this is a good time to do it, it's the migration and training that you would do. And then, of course, looking at your 2026 marketing game plan. All right. So it's a lot of stuff. Some stuff you wouldn't even think to do, but that's truly a way that you can maximize December and January in your marketing and with your team. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, please click subscribe and turn on the notifications. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you'd like to be part of the audience, you do need to be one of our paid members. So please click the comments below. We're now going to go to our live audience and they're going to share with us some of the takeaways and how they can use it in their business.